Russia's oil empire is on fire. Ukrainian drones are turning Putin's fuel lifelines into small-daring rigs. For the second day in a row, Crimea is burning. Flames have jumped from one oil tank to another, and smoke can be seen for 12 kilometers. In Tyumen, massive explosions rocked one of Russia's key refineries, and in the Leningrad region, a major plant was forced to shut down its largest crude processing unit, a devastating hit to the Kremlin's energy machine. And that's not all. Intelligence sources say Ukraine is preparing its biggest strike yet. Could Crimea be the next domino to fall? Welcome to Ukraine Today. I'm Zorislava Kolesnikova, and tonight we'll show you why Russia's war machine is collapsing, refinery by refinery, and how Ukraine is taking the fight straight to the heart of Putin's empire. Crimea burns for a second day after Ukrainian drone strike. Fire jumps to another tank, smoke seen for 12 kilometers. The largest oil and fuel terminal in occupied Feodosia, Crimea, has been burning for a second day after a powerful strike on the night of October 6, that the Ukrainian General Staff confirmed was carried out by Ukrainian drones. Satellite images and eyewitness footage show a huge blaze that has already spread to a new storage tank and sent a wall of smoke across the peninsula.
Вторая загорелась.
According to satellite monitoring site, NASA firms spotted two separate fire hotspots at the Feodosia oil and fuel terminal on October 7, one in the northwest and one in the eastern part of the base. The smoke plume from the fire stretched an astonishing 12 kilometers on the satellite image of October 6, underlining how large and fire the blaze is.
Я не знаю, что произошло. Что-то рвануло.
Local observers and Telegram monitoring group report that the fire, which began in the night strike, has now reached another reservoir. Witnesses say the flames have jumped to a new tank, and the Crimea-wide monitor confirmed the spread using flash satellite photos.
On October 5th, tanks burned in the northwest and eastern parts of the fuel base. Today, tanks are burning in the northern part of the site.
So far, the occupation authorities in Crimea have given no full public account. Crimean head Serhiy Aksyonov has not issued an official statement about the fire, while local Telegram channels keep publishing photos and videos proving the fire still rages on the second day. The Feodosia marine oil terminal is the main logistic hub that delivers fuel across Crimea and supplies the Russian military on the peninsula. Hitting this site can cause major problems for the occupiers, fuel supplies, slowing vehicles, cutting deliveries, and hunting the ability of Russian forces to move and fight. First you make the path, then you walk it down, said Pavlo Lakichuk, head of the security programs at the Center of Global Studies Strategy 21, explaining the logic behind the strike.
We know the road. Crimea is our land. Our soldiers have walked it with their own feet. We know every military town they took. Every industrial site is a military or industrial site they grabbed. We know all the pluses and all the minuses. They should not have come to Crimea at all.
Emergency crews continue to fight the flames, but satellite data and eyewitness video both makes clear the fire is far from contained. If more tanks catch fire, the damage and the environmental effects will grow. The strike raises urgent question about fuel shortage for the Russian forces in Crimea and the wider cost of keeping the occupation running. Ukrainian drone hit major oil refinery in Tyumen. Explosions rock Russia's energy hub. Russia's energy heartland was shaken on the night of October 6 when two drones struck the Tyumen oil refinery, one of the largest industrial facilities in western Siberia. The attack reportedly damaged the refinery's reflectation column and part of its water supply system, disturbing operations at the strategic plant. At least two UAVs hit the refinery, previously known as Antipinsky oil refinery, once Russia's largest privately owned refinery, with a processing capacity of 7.5 million tons of oil per year. The strike marks yet another powerful blow to the Kremlin's fuel production infrastructure.
Это пожарные.
Там две скулы.
Две. Да мне вообще похуй.
Local officials in Tyumen claimed that 3 drones were neutralized and that no explosions or fires occurred.
The prompt actions of emergency services prevented the drones from detonating. There were no injuries, there were no explosions or fires. All businesses in the area are operating normally and have not stopped operations.
However, residents of Antipina, a district near a refinery, told local media that they heard 2 powerful explosions and saw fire trucks rushing toward the plant shortly after the strike. Authorities have yet to comment on the full extent of the damage, but satellite data and eyewitnesses' accounts suggest the impact was far from minor. Massive blow to Russia's oil industry. Major refinery in Leningrad region halts operations after drone strike. Russia's largest oil refinery in the northwest, the Kishirsky oil refinery, has been forced to shut down its most powerful crude processing unit following a Ukrainian drone attack on October 4th. The strike, confirmed by Reuters, citing 2 industry sources, dealt a serious blow to one of Moscow's key fuel production hubs. The damaged unit, known as CDU-6, is the refinery's main installation, capable of processing 8 million tons of oil per year, which accounts for nearly 40% of the plant's total capacity. According to experts, repairs could take up to a month, severely affecting output and depending the ongoing fuel shortage crisis in Russia.
Every refinery fire is another explosion in Russia's war budget. Ukraine is systematically dismantling the core of Moscow's oil empire.
As repairs drag on, the blackout in production will ripple across Russia's fuel network, a sign that even deep inside its territory, the Kremlin can no longer feel safe. Ukraine preparing biggest strike yet. Crimea could be next. A stunning forecast from Sky News analyst Michael Clark. Kyiv may be readying for massive assault on occupied Crimea before winter hits. Not just drone raids or pinpoint strikes, but a coordinated air and naval offensive that could reshape the entire war. The question now, is Moscow prepared for Ukrainians' next move, or will Crimea become the breaking point of Putin's empire? Full breakdown in our report.
Ukraine may attack Crimea? This bold statement was made by Sky News analyst Michael Clark. And we're not talking about the usual strikes that the defense forces carry out almost every day, but about a large-scale one. According to Clark, Ukraine could launch an airstrike or a naval landing against Russian positions in Crimea. And in his opinion, this will happen before winter.
Ukrainians like to deliver surprises. They know that this affects not only the Russians on the front line, but also the West's perception of how things are going in Ukraine.
The Sky News analyst also believes that given Ukraine's long-range strike capabilities, an attack on the Kerch Bridge cannot be ruled out.
You can create a breach in the air defense shield, and then you'll want to put something through it to hit something even more valuable.
Ukraine has attacked the Kerch Bridge 3 times. In 2022, a truck loaded with about 20 tons of explosives in TNT equivalent was used to strike the crossing. In 2023, the bridge was attacked by combat sea drones. And in 2025, the SBU blew up the Kerch Bridge underwater. Explosives were planted near the key supports. And while the analyst's suggestion of a fourth attack sounds encouraging, official Kyiv is not thrilled about it.
Of course, there's no need to write about this today. These are somewhat different stages of the war. And in general, there's no need to announce intentions in a war that's been going on for almost 4 years. Russia is still investing significant resources in countering Ukraine. We see everything they're doing. I won't comment on offensive operations, it's not entirely appropriate.
Experts and the military are also against such loud statements. They really are working on Crimea. Demilitarization is in full swing, but that's all you need to know.
This is the personal opinion of a private individual who has no connection to the actual state of affairs. The only way to assess such a publication is as an emphasis that Crimea is a temporarily occupied Ukrainian peninsula. It has not only remained on the agenda for our country's defense forces, but is now, I would even say, in active development. Right now, there is an active phase underway to demilitarize temporarily occupied Crimea. All these so-called analytical calculations and forecasts have nothing to do with the actual realities taking place. The current reality is that the defense forces, in particular the main directorate of Ukraine, as you know, the security service of Ukraine, the naval forces, the armed forces of Ukraine, and other related structures are carrying out the necessary work.
This work consists of ongoing targeted operations to destroy Russian radar systems, air defense installations, aircraft, and so on. Ukrainians can witness all of this almost on a daily basis. And this systematic destruction of Russian weaponry is not happening by chance, confirms the spokesperson for the Ukrainian Navy, Dmytro Pletenchuk. This is exactly where it all begins.
If you want to influence the enemy, whether on their territory or on your own territory that the enemy has occupied, the first thing you need to do is eliminate all obstacles. This will allow you to gain an advantage in the air. After all, this in turn also means an advantage on the ground. To achieve this, you need to eliminate the enemy's countermeasures. In other words, destroy their air defense systems. That's why this is the top priority, the starting point for any further action.
But as for what exactly the next action will be, that's not something anyone needs to know. Speculation won't do any good either, especially from Western analysts. There's no need to interfere with the work of the defense forces. And this is a rule that Ukrainians have learned well over nearly 4 years of full-scale war.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now. That's all for today on Ukraine Today. If you stand for truth over propaganda, like, comment and subscribe. Want to go further? Become a sponsor and join our front line of information defense. Your support helps us expose war crimes, track Russia's failure and amplify Ukrainians' voice worldwide. Stay informed, stay strong and stay with Ukraine.